You wake up. You have things to do, big things, important things, things you've been putting off for weeks. And yet, by the end of the day, you've done almost nothing. You feel drained, frustrated, maybe even ashamed. You tell yourself, tomorrow I'll be better. But tomorrow comes, and it happens again. This isn't laziness, this isn't weakness, and this is definitely not a character flaw. This is your brain doing exactly what it was designed to do. And today we're going to break down exactly why you get stuck and what's actually happening inside your mind when you can't seem to move forward. You don't have one brain. You effectively have two systems that are constantly competing with each other. The first is your thinking brain, the prefrontal cortex. This is the part that sets goals, plans for the future, weighs consequences, and knows what you should be doing. It sees the calendar, it sees the deadline. It sees the opportunity sitting right in front of you. The second is your survival brain, the amygdala and limbic system. This is ancient. It has been with humans for hundreds of thousands of years. Its only job is one thing: keep you safe, right now, not tomorrow, not next year, right now. Here's the problem. Your survival brain is faster, louder, and more powerful than your thinking brain, every single time. When your thinking brain says, I need to work on that presentation, your survival brain scans the task and asks one question. Is this safe? If the task feels uncertain, maybe you'll fail, maybe people will judge you, maybe it won't be good enough, your survival brain raises a flag. And when that flag goes up, your body responds, cortisol rises, focus narrows, the urge to avoid becomes overwhelming. You don't avoid the task because you don't care. You avoid it because your brain has classified it as a threat. This creates what psychologists call the avoidance loop. Here's how it works. You face a task, your survival brain flags it as threatening, you avoid it, and the moment you avoid it, you feel relief. That relief feels good, your brain notices, and it stores that information: avoidance equals safety, do it again. So the next time that task appears or anything that looks like it, your brain triggers avoidance even faster. It has gotten more efficient at protecting you. Over time, the loop tightens, the tasks pile up, the avoidance gets stronger, and you feel more stuck than ever. Now here's what most people get wrong. They think the solution is more motivation, more discipline, a better morning routine. But motivation doesn't fix a threat response. You don't motivate your way out of a survival instinct. That's like telling someone to just calm down during a panic attack. The real fix requires understanding what your brain is actually afraid of. Behind almost every avoidance pattern there are three hidden fears, and most people have never consciously identified them. Fear number 1, fear of failure. This one seems obvious, but the way it actually shows up is subtle. It's not, I'm afraid I'll fail, it's what if I try my hardest and it's still not good enough. That thought is unbearable, so instead of risking that answer, you don't try at all, you keep the dream alive by never testing it. Fear number 2, fear of judgment. Humans are deeply social creatures. For most of our history, being rejected from the group was a death sentence. That wiring hasn't changed. When you put your work, your ideas, or your efforts in front of others and they could be criticized, your brain reads that as social danger. It's not irrational, it's ancient. Fear number 3, fear of wasted effort. What if I put in all this work and it doesn't matter? This fear keeps people from starting anything unless they can guarantee the outcome, and since you can never guarantee the outcome, you never start. These three fears work together to keep the loop spinning. And here's the uncomfortable truth: none of them are lies. Failure is possible, judgment is real, effort can be wasted, your brain isn't making things up. But it's also catastrophizing, treating unlikely worst cases as certainties, and that gap between what might happen and what your brain tells you will happen is exactly where you get stuck. So what actually gets you unstuck? 3 things, none of them are what productivity YouTube will tell you. The first is threat reduction. Remember, your brain isn't avoiding the task, it's avoiding the threat the task represents, so your job is to make the task feel less dangerous. You do this by making it smaller, not write the report, open the document, not start the business, write one sentence about what the business does, not go to the gym, put on your shoes. When the action is tiny enough, the brain stops classifying it as a threat. The relief of avoidance disappears because there's nothing scary left to avoid. The second is identity separation. Most people attach their self-worth to their output. If the work is bad, they are bad. That connection is what makes every task feel dangerous. You break it by deliberately separating who you are from what you produce. The work is not you, the work is just the work. It can be imperfect, it can fail, and you will still be okay. This sounds simple, it takes practice, but every time you remind yourself of this separation, the threat signal gets weaker. The third is environmental design. Your brain makes decisions based on what's easiest in the moment. If scrolling your phone is easier than starting the task, you will scroll every single time. So instead of fighting your impulses, design the environment so the right action is the easiest action. Put the phone in another room. Open the document before you go to bed so it's waiting for you in the morning. Remove the friction before willpower is even needed. You're not training your mind, you're engineering your situation. Here's something most people never consider. These patterns didn't start last year, they started early. Every time you were criticized as a child for getting something wrong, your brain made a note. Effort can lead to pain. Every time you were praised only for results, not for trying, your brain learned only success is safe. These patterns became wired, and as an adult they play out automatically without you even realizing it. You feel lazy, you call yourself unmotivated, but underneath that there's a version of you that simply learned that trying was dangerous. You are not broken, you are responding to programming that made sense once and just hasn't been updated yet. Getting unstuck doesn't happen all at once. It happens in small moments, choosing action over avoidance, separating your worth from your work, making the next step so small it stops feeling threatening. Your brain is not your enemy, it's just protecting you the only way it knows how. Now you know how it works. And that's where everything changes. You were never lazy, you were never broken, you were just never taught how your own brain works.